There we go. See if Winchester... I'm sure Winchester wants a loyalty card for us, you know.
I'll make him one. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, whatever you identify as in this day and age. Welcome to Shoot Some Shale, powered by D&D Media, and today I am joined by Mr. Dylan Hodgetts, as always, and I'm joined by Mr. Paul Wheeler this evening. How are we doing, chaps?
Brilliant, guys. I'm good. Thanks for having us.
Cold.
You're a bit fresh down in Tipton.
Yeah, it's a little bit cool down here.
You need one of these heated jackets or what? Shout out to me dad.
Knew it wouldn't take long.
So we've got
Dave.
Mr.
Big up, Dave.
Big up, Dave. So we've got Mr. Paul Wheeler on here today because he's a Mildenhall supporter. We thought we'd give a little bit of a fans Chinwag from a team that's been absent from British Speedway over the last couple of years. So Paul, first of all, how did you get into Speedway? How did it all start out for you?
Right, so I've basically come into, well, I didn't come into Speedway. I got invited to a Speedway meeting by my aunt. She took me to my first ever Speedway meeting. It was Hackney Speedway. When they obviously had Andy Galvin, Steve Schofield, Paul Whitaker, all them kind of riders. And since then, I was just literally going week in, week out for a couple of years. Lost contact with my aunt. And then when we did get back in contact with her, she was like a Mildenhall fan. My uncle, he was actually a mechanic for Gary Sweet at the time. That must have been about the early 2000 time. And then, yeah, ever since then, I've just been going Mildenhall literally when I can. So, yeah, it was pretty much Mildenhall. Like I say, it was at Hackney, Mildenhall, and then ever since, I just started supporting them.
Obviously, Mildenhall's had quite a long range of success, especially at the National League level. Has there been any standout moments for you during the time at West Row?
Yeah, there's a couple of standouts. I remember it wasn't. We won the pair. Was it? No, we won the fours. Where was that? No, we didn't win the fours. Sorry. Yeah, we did. We won the fours at
Was
Stoke.
it Stoke?
Yeah, it was at Stoke. Yeah, I was actually on crutches that night. And I was actually drinking with Jan Steckman. I remember that one quite well. And he was on crutches as well, and he'd done exactly the same injury as me. We'd done our Achilles. So we was all like, we was both standing there having a pint together, which was like quite decent.
I need to join the queue.
But yeah, and then I remember Graham Drury, he was the team manager at the time. He come over, and I walked the opposite way. Bless him. Yeah, but yeah, that was probably the standout one. Never been Stoke in my life, and it's probably the last time I've been probably time I go Stoke as well. That was freezing as well, but no, that's probably the standout one.
Understandable. Stoke's a bit of a shithole. So, obviously, the past couple of years, Mildenhall haven't been able to race in National League Speedway for a number of reasons. Have you done anything Speedway related during that time?
Not really, not really. To be honest, since the COVID has did kick in, I spent probably more time during COVID. It was like pretty much family time and everything because there was nothing else you could do. And obviously my little boy is growing up a little bit now. And then when COVID, all the when all the things relaxed and everything, you was allowed to do what you can do, like day-to-day living again. We went over to like obviously football a bit. He doesn't like the speedway noise and everything, so it was quite hard taking there. But I've been a couple of times when they did go back up and running after the COVID, and then obviously this all happened, and yeah, pretty much just get down there when I could. Speedway wise, I went to a Grand Prix a couple of seasons ago, like the British Grand Prix, and obviously when I come down to Palmer to see the Scunny, was it red car meeting? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
That reminds me.
Yeah, so that was basically the last meeting. So yeah, since Mildenhall closed that, well, not closed down, but not raced. It was obviously them two meetings, the Grand Prix and the Scunny red car meeting.
So now there's discussions at the moment going on of a potential track return for Mildenhall. Is this something you could support and get on board with if it comes to fruition?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Obviously, there's a thing on the website in a minute asking for fans to sign up and everything, which I've done this afternoon. But yeah, like when you look at the sport, I think it's the sport needs the fans really. And when you look at obviously Wolverhampton, your Peterboroughs, there's a few other clubs. I think it happened to Newcastle. It was basically because they didn't have the money to carry on running. And I think with the fans' helps and everything, that would be a major help, literally major help. But yeah, it's just one of them things. Like in this, obviously since the COVID, really, this day and age, you just can't go anywhere without you need like a full pocket now. So it is quite hard, especially in the sports as well. It's not just speedway, it's any sport really, but yeah, it's always good to have the fans on board, definitely.
That is something I did want to get your opinions on as well, because they're not really having one standout promoter. Either. It's almost going to be like it's your club, it's a fans club, which
yeah,
is
it's a fan club. So I know you've got I think there's about 5 of them on the committee. You've obviously got that Steve Ribbons. I think you've got Diane Farmer. You've got a Jeremy guy, Derek Barkley. He's the one to go to, I think. Every emails and everything, it's always got his name on it. So I think it's the main guy the go-to guy. Yeah, also that is good. Yeah, so I think they're trying to just, instead of like you say, having like one person running the whole club, you got like 5 or 6 people, which is probably fan based as well.
Definitely isn't the worst, and that could possibly become the best sort of promotion in Speedway, because it's not just all going to be all for the benefits of that one person.
Of course, yeah.
Not certainly not at the club I go to most weeks. Not mentioning no names.
Yeah, I
So,
think it is a good idea to have things like that. Yeah.
so if this track return for Mildenhall does come to fruition, and you are able to track a team, what would your 1 to 7 be for this year, and what would your expectations of that team be?
Right. I wouldn't expect too much. As a team wise, like obviously everyone's going to go out there and try their best and everything, and get what they want at the end of it, and like everyone's going to have their goals and everything. I wouldn't expect too much. Obviously, when you look at the development trophy already, you've got teams already filled, so it's going to be hard to go out and pick people who are already in teams. There is a few riders that I could probably say that if Mildenhall had suggested that they were going to go into this trophy like way before, and no one was in lineups, I reckon there would have been 3 or 4 riders that would probably have jumped at the chance of going to Mildenhall. But where this has only come to light now, and everyone's had to pick what teams they've wanted to go to, that doesn't help a little bit. But yeah, team wise, I'd probably like, again, it's hard because obviously you can't really. You can pick from the National League, can't you? I believe.
Yes. Yeah, you
And
can
you
do
can mix
both.
and match. Yeah. So originally I was looking at it yesterday or the day before, and my team would probably be like Ryan Kingsley, Kingsley. It'd probably be my number one. Well, yeah, he'd be my number one. Then you've got the likes of Jack Kingston, Luke Muff, but then he's at like Sheffield in
Yeah,
in the other league.
League.
Yeah, the Sheffield and Scunny League team. Then someone like Connor Cole's like a big hitter, but then he's riding for Edinburgh next season in the National League, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think the news at Mildenhall is that they're going Saturday nights next year as well. So I'm not too sure whether he will want to do Edinburgh on a Friday and then come all the way down to Mildenhall for a Saturday. So travelling wise, I don't think that would actually escalate. And then I've also got Alex Spooner, Elliot Kelly, and Sam Woolley. But that would be I'm not too sure if I think, where is it, 39, I think, the average? In the development league?
Something like
Trophy
I
side?
can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Like
Yeah, I think that kind of team would be pretty decent, I think. But like I say, it's hard because everyone's like got in their teams now. Yeah, you got people that have ridden at Mildenhall before, like Ben Trigger. I reckon he would have jumped at the chance had he knew about Mildenhall like before Christmas or something. Yeah, them ones. And then you got, who's the other one I was thinking about? Aaron Butcher. I think he's riding at Leicester now. But he's a Leicestershire. No, he's at Bromley, isn't he? Is it Birmingham in the development, the Trophy League?
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think he's at Birmingham, but he's from Leicestershire. Though. I don't think he would want to. I know before we actually a couple of seasons ago, one of our final seasons, I think he rode for us.
Yeah, is it Birmingham and Oxford?
Yeah, so that's a shame. Where he's at Birmingham, that would have been. I think he would have jumped here as well. He's quite a familiar face around Mildenhall as well. So yeah, that would be my team really.
So
I was looking to him.
There was a lot of rumours of Mildenhall making a return to National League racing this year, and then obviously that was all debunked because of that fire. How did that impact everything at Mildenhall and you as a fan? You know, hearing the rumours and then everything kind of
Yeah,
literally
to be
goes
honest,
up.
yeah, definitely. To be honest, I thought that was it. I didn't think everyone had given up on Mildenhall. So fair play to the ones that, like I say, Steve Ribbon, Diane, um, and Derek Barkley. Fair play to them because they could have easily just said no, we're not even going to attempt to even get Mildenhall back. So yeah, fair play to them. And I think people will be grateful for it. People will be grateful. Um, so obviously it's not going to be a Sunday afternoon, which probably would have been better for most people. But you can't beat a Saturday night under like floodlights at Mildenhall. I do like that. It's pretty decent.
And do you think this is their sort of opportunity to say, right, there's, you know, trophy, and then if it goes to plan and they get enough support, they will come back full time? Or do you think, you know, if this goes well, they'll
Yeah, I
sort
think
of fizzle
this.
out?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the taster, really. If everything goes to plan, then 100% they will get back to the National League. This is it's good that they're actually attempting to ride this year because it's like the Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, 50th year,
Hmm.
and not many clubs actually do get that far. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, like I say, touch wood. If this is a good season, or if it is a good they get a good showing and everything, I reckon they could quite easily attempt to go a little bit further back into the development league.
And there's a lot of riders that have gone through Mildenhall in the past, riders like Jordan Jenkins, Jason Edwards, who are now racing in the top league on a regular basis. Do you still like to follow their career, obviously starting or early days at Mildenhall to now where they are in the top league on the TV most weeks?
Yeah, definitely. So when I first started going Mildenhall, you had like your Steve Candams, Barry Evans, Phil Knowles, Gavin Edge, and then gradually as the season, like each season was going forward and everything, you did have your likes of. I remember when Drew Kemp was a little kid spinning around at number 7 getting 18-point maximums every week. So you've got the likes of him, like you say, Edwards, Jenkins, Connor Manton, Alfie Botel, Josh Bates. The list can go on forever, and they're actually really, really like top kids. And luckily, they've progressed like further and further. And like you say, they're on Eurosport every week most nights now, anyway. So yeah, it's I always keep an eye on them. I think they're brilliant
You,
guys to watch.
you mentioned Josh Bates there. As just a general British Speedway fan, is it a concern to you the amount of young British riders that are retiring at an early age now as well?
Yeah, I think some riders. I think it's when they come into the sport, they jump at the chance of like doing it, which is quite good. And then I believe that after a while, because they're not potentially getting to where they want to be, so most like Josh Bates, he was actually pretty decent. I think he was. It's hard to explain really. He was the type of rider that wanted to ride week in week out, but just couldn't afford it, kind of thing.
Mm.
And he wasn't getting the sponsors and everything, which is a shame really because he was actually a really good rider. But yeah, sponsorship plays a massive part as well. But yeah,
And
it's,
Mildenhall as a track has had some special memories, none more so than, you know, Danny Ayre's last lap there when obviously all of that happened a few years back as well. So it is a really special
yeah.
place to go that people may not know about. Sort of, what would you do to try and encourage more people to come?
Um, well, I'd encourage them to get down there.
Mm.
Like what my last meeting was. When was the last meeting I went to at Mildenhall? I think the meeting went way into midnight the last time I went there. There was like 4 injuries. So yeah, get
Oh,
yourself down
yeah.
there. You could
Oh,
spend hours and hours there, whether you're watching them racing or you're sitting up in the bar or you're waiting for an ambulance to pick someone up. It's not even. now you've got the likes of these 5 people like trying to take over the club and everything. They're trying to make it more family-tized as well, which is good. Not saying it wasn't like that before, but I think they're trying to get everyone in together. That's why they're asking the fans as well to like sign a petition kind of thing.
You've you've just
To get us
reminded me
going.
of something actually there. The this last season Mildenhall did when there was constant crashes and injuries and stuff. Do you
Yeah.
think this new almost consortium have got an even tougher job to rebuild bridges that might have been burnt with meetings going on 4, 5, 6 hours into midnight sometimes as well?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there was a lot I know a couple of people that were like, no, we can't be doing this every week. At the end of the day, it's Speedway. It's like if you've been Speedway since the age of like I have at like 6, 7, it's just in your blood, and you just want to watch it. Doesn't matter what team it is, who it is, you just want to watch it. You just want to watch it. Obviously the spills that ain't nice, but yeah, you just want to watch it. You know what I mean? So yeah, the yeah. I was going to say something off the top of my head. I thought I was going to say something. I was going to say something else, but for the life of me, I can't remember.
It just disappears when you
Yeah,
sat here
just
trying to
disappears. Yeah,
talk about it, yeah.
yeah.
Palmer, you got
Mm.
anything else?
So, how sort of obviously the news come through midway through last year that the stadium had caught fire. How much had you really sort of almost potentially given up hope of ever going back there for Speedway when that news broke out?
Yeah, it was tough. It was very tough. Like I say, I didn't think it was ever going to be back again after that. Like I say, they could have easily just said, no, we're not, we're cutting ties with literally everything. Obviously, I would have gone back because the greyhounds are still there and the stock cars. But
Mm.
yeah, but what they've done, like I say, they've come in and they just took it with open arms and said, no, we're going to get a nut down and try and bring this back. And yeah, fair play to them. But yeah, it would have been hard not seeing it. But thankfully we could see the end, like the light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully we get back to business again.
And with this, like with the way how Mildenhall have done it this year by getting the fans involved in the way that they have, is this sort of like a potential business idea for clubs like Coventry and Peterborough to try and get their way back into the sport somehow?
Yeah, they could quite possibly be. I know that everyone's like they've all got their own consultants and they're really pushing like Peterborough. I think they're doing an amazing job. I know they've not got to where they want to be at the minute, but there's always like that little push every like time, and they're constantly having like meetings as well, and they're not just keeping it to themselves. They're bringing their fans involved into it, which is really good. And the same with Coventry. I've not heard much about Coventry as much as like Peterborough, but yes, the same thing. So hopefully, we get to see them kind of teams back soon as well.
And then lastly, because it's all I've got left on me bit of paper, what would be like your all-time 1 to 7 team if you had no limits or anything?
Well,
No, but an unlimited budget. Your all-time 1 to 7.
but when people do this, I see it in the Speedway Star and everything. When people do this, they literally just like pick their like amazing 1 to 7. And when I look at it, I'm like, who's going to be at reserve? You've got to have someone at reserve because they're like picking like 7 number ones. So I was looking at it the other week, funny enough, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, it's a pretty much mixture of like when I was going start of Mildenhall. So I would have picked a 7 of Steve Camden. I just loved that guy. He was absolutely brilliant around Mildenhall. I ain't got a clue what he's doing at the minute. Alfie Botel, another great kid at the time. He's got a little bit older. Barry Evans, he was a really good kid as well. Jason Edwards, he's probably the best I've actually seen around Mildenhall. You've got Connor Manton, Sam Beebe, and there is another guy. I've only picked up. He was good. He was a very, very good rider, to be honest. Not a lot of people would probably know him, but I picked a rider called Jamie Barton. Jamie Barton. He was. I'm pretty sure he was. I remember the episode of EastEnders when Ricky Butcher was making out to be a speedway rider, and I think Jamie Barton was actually on the EastEnders episode, standing next to him, and like I was like, wow, that's like Jamie Barton. And then I see him the following week, and it was at Mildenhall. So yeah, it was quite interesting. So yeah, that would probably be my 1 to 7. But there is other riders. Gavin Edge, I thought he was really good around Mildenhall. And a couple more. Paul Line, he was half decent. Tatenda Duffield, he was still in the sport. Where's BSN? Is he BSN now? He's
Yeah.
the leader of that, isn't he? Yeah. So yeah, no. Mildenhall is like, without sounding like big-headed or anything, but Mildenhall is actually quite a good like feeder club for people like coming into the sport. You do see a lot of riders coming in like to sport and then gradually like building and building. I don't know if it's because of the track, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a good stepping stone, and they do actually like using like 15, 16-year-olds to bring into the sport. So yeah.
I never knew Mildenhall had been in an episode of EastEnders. I've learned something.
It was just Jamie Barton. I think it was around Arena Essex at the time. He was.
Okay.
I think it was Troy Parrott at the time. Is it not Troy Parrott? Troy Pratt. It was actually him racing it, but then when the cameras got closer into the pits, he took his helmet off and it was Ricky Butcher. But when he was racing around, it was actually Troy Pratt racing around on the camera.
That's quite
It
cool.
was quite clever. It was quite cool, yeah. I think it's all on YouTube, to be honest. You'd have to look it up.
I'm going to have to have a look for
Quite
that.
clever. Yeah, it's quite good, yeah. I'll just find the link and send it to you.
I'm all out of questions.
Just one last question, much to my dad's pain. Was you present at the meeting at Scunthorpe in 1974 when you won the league on a cold Sunday morning?
1974, I wasn't even thought about it then.
How old do you think he is?
Well, if you don't ask, you don't know these things, do you?
Oh, God.
That's brilliant. No.
You've just asked him questions for 25 minutes and then offended the poor fella right at the end.
Sorry,
I
Will.
think my mum and dad might have been there. So somewhere along the line I was there.
God. I can't believe you've just asked that question. Oh, God.
It was brilliant.
I think that's the perfect note to end on.
That's good.
So that's been episode 2 of Fans Chinwag. There may be another one soon. We couldn't really tell you. We know there's somebody that wants to come on to do it, but a certain member of D&D don't really want him on.
I wonder which
But-
one that might be, his namesake.
But we'll. I'm sure we could sort something out, and there'll be another one soon. Just keep an eye out on the D&D Facebook page, and check out the website if you haven't, because we'll probably put something on there about it as well. But from myself and everybody here, it's a very